Welcome back to the Killshot MMA podcast for UFC Vegas 109. Dolidze versus Fluffy Hernandez. It shouldn't be Dolidze versus Hernandez. It should be Dolidze versus Fluffy. I'm Sniper. With me is Monk. You are all talking shit on UFC Vegas 108, and look what the fuck happened. Banger of a card.
Yeah.
One clear fight of the year contender.
Yeah.
To a second one that's like borderline. Fantastic night of fights. Came away with a small victory on DraftKings for me. Cash game lineup. Got there and I managed to lose in GPPs. Not my cash game win covered the GPP loss. So make sure you're checking out those specific shows on my channel at Sniper Wins throughout the week. Make sure you join DFS Army where there's more notes and optimizer, all that good stuff. Link in the description to my profiles for that. And make sure you go follow this man, Monk Maddox at Monk MMATICS. Go check out all of his content. Monk, how are you this week?
Pretty good. You were right. It's a banger card. I mean, Esteban, or I don't know if you were talking about the Ribovich fight or the Duncan Rebeshki fight. But
Duncan Rebeshki's borderline fight of the year.
Yeah.
Brenner and Ribovich was like, I got into an argument with somebody when I was like, I like Apex cards, but can you imagine that fight in the middle of a fucking crowd? And I got told I should shut the fuck up. And why am I thinking about crowds at a time like this? I'm like, okay.
Take a pill again or something. Crowds cool. Are good. Yeah, Ribovich proved yet again that he should probably be in a crowd type environment every time. Like the Zellhuber fight, this fight, just absolute bangers. The Ribeshki fight was crazy. It's just a great week, man. Cash lineup did well for me as well. So, yeah, I'm going to keep it rolling, hopefully, into 109.
So that's what we got on tap here. We're going to talk 11 fights. Do these on Tuesday evening, sometime between 8:30, 9:30 Eastern time. Again, Sniper Wins, recordings on the DFS Army YouTube channel. I mentioned that because if you're here, guys, and I see a few of you trickling in already, make sure you drop comments throughout the show. We'll answer any questions, hang out, talk about everything going down. 11 fights because Tuesday nights when we do this, we just heard this morning that we got Brundage and Eric Mechanico. We don't have odds. We don't have DraftKings salaries. So that one's going to be for VIPs. Although I will probably talk about it a little bit later in the week in the Cash Game Builder and GPP shows, because I imagine it's going to be a insane GPP fight. Yeah. I'm going to do something a little bit different this week because I think we need to talk about this at the very start of the card. So this is starting our breakdowns here, but I need to pull this up first. So your mid-range salaries this week, 8,300 for Lucindo, 7,900 for Hill. That is the closest lined fight, right? Because that's how DraftKings marks everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Monk, I assume you know exactly where I'm going with this. Yeah. On FanDuel, that's minus 205 for Lucindo. We have no fights where the odds start with a favorite starts with a 1.
That's
not
insane.
A single one. So big dogs this week, like big favorites this week, big dogs are going to be underdog hunting a little bit. I did pick 2 out of 11 straight up, so we'll get into those. I don't have none. I did manage to find 2 that I like. One I think is probably questionable, but the odds really push it there. So we'll get into that, but that's worth mentioning is that there is the mid-range. You're not getting odds value in the mid-range this week, boys and girls. That is not a good look here. By the way, non here, what is Sniper's driver carry distance? I am surprisingly squirrely here. Carried about, this is the problem. If I hit it good, I'll carry 210, 215, roll out to like 240. How many times that 240 is in the fucking woods? A lot.
Right.
Like, let's a lot. I'm a 17 to 18 handicap. It's not a good look, Don, but you know what? It's fun. So let's go ahead and let's talk about the fights. I need to scroll back here. Actually, do what we always do. Erceg Hyunsung Park. We just saw Park last week. Really tough spot for him. Great performance by Tatsuro Taira. Yeah. But Erceg has a replacement opponent still on the card. He was going to fight Alex Perez at one point. That didn't happen. Jocelyn Edwards was supposed to fight Mayra Bueno Silva. Silva's out. And an interesting fight there against Priscilla Cachoeira. Those are canceled or rescheduled. fights. Let's talk now. We're going to skip Brundage and Mechanico, which means the first fight we have to talk about. I'm going to be honest, this is not one of the dogs I picked, but it's one of the ones that came way closer than I fucking wanted to. And it really hurts my soul because Julia Stoliarenko is not good. She's plus 300. The comeback on Gabriela Fernandes is minus 400. Your fight ends inside the distance prop is minus 215 because Stoliarenko either arm bars you or gets knocked the fuck out. That's how Stoliarenko rolls. Pretty big odd discrepancy, right? Yeah, you still only got to pay $8,800 for Gabriela Fernandes. Stoliarenko is $7,400. This whole salaries, I might make that snicker every fight this card because it's hard to get your head around when for so long we've seen it a different way. Monk teed up the first fight, a little bit of a preamble there, obviously, but these salaries have got to be blowing up your statistical model. What you got for this fight?
You actually like this one. I think you have to target this one in GPPs. You just have to. Like you said, yep. Stoliarenko is armbar or bust, and she's what, 7,400, I believe you said. So if she wins, it's going to be by armbar, which means she's going to get a bonus, which means she's probably going to be close or on the optimal lineup. On the other side, Fernandez, decent score. I mean, she doesn't have a high ceiling, but she's averaged in her 2 wins. I guess she's scored rather 93, almost 94, and then 88. She's got terrible striking defense. Both of them do, but we're not expecting a ton of striking from Stoliarenko. Fernandez does offer about a strike per minute more than Stoliarenko and has decent offensive numbers there. We're not seeing too much in the way of takedowns. We're not seeing anything in the way of control time. Both these women give up 81% or more of the grappling time they're involved in. And yet we see a minus 400 next to Gabby Fernandez. So while she does get hit too much, she does have a little bit of power of her own. I guess that's just the knockout of, or knockdown, whatever. Yeah, knockdown from Wang Kong. So that was in her most recent fight. But that win and the Carly Judice win, you can argue about the Judice win, whether it went the right way or not. Two very good wins on her record. The Bleda loss is terrible, but losing to Jasmine in 15 minutes is not the end of the world. Jasmine likely going to be on title contention's doorstep here pretty soon. I got to go with Fernandez here. She's never been finished. She's got 4 subs, only 2 KOs, so you got to think she knows her way a little bit around the ground game, and all she has to do is not get armbarred, and she should win this fight. Love the salaries here. Sneaky little GPP play, in my opinion.
The problem is that she was taken down twice by Carly Judice, who's a boxer. Like, let's be really clear. Judice is really a boxer. Yeah. And the Wang Kong, remember, Wang Kong was a giant. This was a huge upset. Wang Kong was a massive
like plus 800.
Yeah. So she is better than Stoliarenko. Pretty much. Well, I would say the BJJ is on the side of Stoliarenko. And yeah, Stoliarenko's got her wins with Jessica Rose Clark, Molly McCann. This is a very, very ugly UFC resume. Like, really ugly. But is it really going to be the craziest thing in the world if she gets a takedown and finds a takedown and gets a finish, or somehow pulls guard and gets an armbar? No, I'm not going to be surprised at all. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to make this case for a ton of underdogs on this card. There's actually quite a few underdogs who I don't think are live, like, at all. There's, and even if I think they're going to win, I am not high on their upside. I think Stoliarenko, in terms of, in terms of GPP punts, or, GPP punts, right? I think there is one cheaper than her that I'm really interested in, and it's borderline. And so at 7,400, she's not at a super low price tag. Like, you have Stoliarenko, Urbina, Osbourne, Anders, Kazama, Cerqueira. You got to roster these people. You have to take some of them. And in high volatility women's MMA, I'll take some shares on Julia Stoliarenko. But on no planet can I pick her straight out, because I think it is kind of armbar or bust. I just don't trust Gabriela Fernandez enough. I'll probably be underweight to Gabriela and kind of praying. It's a really scary spot to be this week. But I understand why you think it's sneaky, but there's other spots I want to be on because there's too many favorites. And we'll cover them one by one. So Fernandes the pick. I lean towards Stoliarenko actually is the better GPP play, and I wouldn't touch this one in cash games. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, even GPP sneaky GPP for the whole fight, like both fighters. People always overlook women's fighters for the most part. Do not do that with this fight.
Yep. All right, let's talk Euros. Medic and Gilbert Urbina. Medic is minus 450. Urbina is plus 350. Fight ends inside the distance of minus 800. Holy GPP, Batman. This is not going to be one that is going to sneak up on people. This is minus 160 to end under 1.5 rounds. This is an all-in fight. This is chalk I will be eating. Medic is 8,900. Urbina is 7,300. Monk, who you got?
I'd taken Euros Medic. I think he's going to murder Urbina here in this one. To be completely honest, not great defense on either side, but Urbina clearly has more defensive holes than Medic does. He eats almost, 4.6 strikes a minute. He does land takedowns and controls 80% of the fight. Now the lands takedowns is, he's 4 of 8. So he landed 2 against Kosuke, who I do not rate at all. And then he 2 against Battle before he lost in the second round. He fought Chuck Buffalo and got KO'd in the first round. Medic should absolutely smash him here for sure. Like, if he gets taken down, that's the thing. The 2 fights he's been taken down in, Medic, he has lost. But it was to Jalen Turner and Oralby. I don't think Urbina is on either of those guys' levels. And the last thing I'll say here is, even though it's not sneaky, every single fight, either Medic or Urbina or their opponents have made the optimal lineup. Yeah. That's like, 8 and 3? That's 11 fights total where the winner makes the optimal lineup. So get these guys in your lineups. I'm going to have way more Medic than Urbina, but I'm not fading Urbina entirely by any means. Like I said, if he somehow gets if he gets takedowns on Medic, this could be a completely different fight, and Medic could look not great, off his back like he usually does. So hopefully we see a couple of knockdowns from Medic and a big score. Otherwise, hopefully we see several takedowns and a ground and pound finish out of Urbina. So yeah, that's how I'd play this one. Just 100%. Basically 100% fight.
Yeah, I'm not going to repeat your breakdown. It's an all-in fight, way heavier on Medic. Do think he wins. I'm probably thinking somewhere in the realm of 70% Medic, and I might get up to 75, 80, quite honestly.
He's 8,900. It's crazy.
It's borderline. The problem is, as I alluded to, I could see it. Whereas I'll just get to it. Look, I see very little scenario where I want to play Cerqueira, Kazama, Anders. Hot take. People aren't gonna like this one. Dolidze. Yeah. Andre Fili. Yeah. Or Angela Hill. Like that, those are all the underdogs I just listed. There's a pocket of dogs to play. And we happen to be starting with them. And we just mentioned Stoliarenko, Urbina, right? And it's really the pocket of, and I can make an argument for Dolidze, but it's this pocket between 77 to 7,300. That's like all your dogs. It's Urbina, Stoliarenko, Dolidze, Priscilla Cachoeira, Miles Johns. And we'll talk about why Fili and Hill, even though they're closer fights, I don't like them as much. But it's kind of that pocket. And now I just listed a bunch of dogs, but I'm going to tell you, in that list, I think you can get some leverage going under the field on Dolidze, who's going to be way higher owned than I think he should be. I'm so sick of seeing the Jack Hermanson calf slicer hold down Dolidze already. I'm already burnt out. Like, guys, I get it. It was great. Yeah. Fluffy Hernandez is a way better grappler. Like, that's what he does. That's like, Dolidze needs to beat him on the feet, which I mean, that's the past, but the calf slicer or hold down ground and pound, no bearing on this fight at all. On that fight. Sorry. I know we totally sidetracked here. Medic Urbina, fucking all in for GPPs. Cash games, I'll tell you, I don't hate Medic. As high volatility as this fight is, don't hate Medic at all. All right, let's move on and let's talk the aforementioned Priscilla Cachoeira, who I think has finally moved beyond her nickname Priscilla Catcher Beating. I think we're probably past that. Edwards is minus 310. Cachoeira is plus 260. Monk making a face. Fight goes to decision is going to be about minus 140-ish. should see 3 rounds of action, but Priscilla is all volume, and usually it's just going to force volume out of her opponent. So that's something to consider here. Your DraftKings salaries: Edwards is 8,600, Cachoeira is 7,600. Monk, how can you call her catch a beating when, I mean, she's won 3 of her last 5 fights? With her losses, she made it to the 3rd round against Jasmine Jastovicius, and Miranda Maverick's no joke. I mean, come on, we can't hate her that much.
I mean, she got absolutely beat down in those 2 fights. She is durable, but she got fucking killed in both of those fights.
But
for 3 wins.
This is the top of the division. Like she
Jasmine
was like
Miranda,
she went out, she took care of Ji-Yeon Kim, Ariane Lipski, Josiane Noon. Like,
are any of those people in the UFC anymore?
But what?
Are any of those 3 even in the UFC anymore?
We just saw Ariane Lipski fight.
I mean, when did I mean, it didn't probably, who did she fight? I don't even remember
June.
that.
She fought Wang Kong in June and went to decision.
Oh yeah. That's right.
And Josiane Nunes is probably on the borderline of something bad happening, but
yeah, she's terrible. Jocelyn Edwards hasn't beat anyone great, that's for sure. But she's definitely
you got to pay minus 310 for this week.
True, but that equates to just 8,600 on DraftKings, which I think is fantastic for all formats. She's clearly the better fighter everywhere. You said Priscilla has tons of volume. I mean, she does land 4 strikes a minute. Edwards beats that by 0.5 or 0.6 strikes a minute herself. And she also doesn't give up 7.1 strikes a minute like Priscilla does.
That's blown out from 1 fight. I hate when you do this. I hate when you do this.
No, it's not, because I knew you were going to say that, and it's absolutely not. Nunes dropped 11.2 on her. Jasudavicius 6.5. 3.6 from Da Silva. 11.33 from Ji-Yeon Kim in 15 minutes. 6.4 from Robertson.
I forgot Ji-Yeon Kim landed 170 strikes.
7.5.
I will concede
Shayna
my point.
Dobson. Luana Carolina 7.5. Molly McCann 7. She is 100%. That is not 1 fight. That is every fight.
I take it back. I forgot this fight. Obviously, 95 in 9 minutes is not good.
No,
I forgot about this fight.
Just terrible. She has a 43% striking defense. She has no takedown defense. She gets out-controlled 2 minutes to basically 0. She gives up 95% control time. Jocelyn Edwards doesn't control a lot, but lands almost half a takedown, outstrikes her opponents, lands more volume than Cachoeira overall. And I just think she's the much better fighter, much more well-rounded. Outside of a ridiculous haymaker, because that's all Cachoeira does, she just puts her head down and throws these overhand rights and lefts. Outside of getting caught by one of those, I don't think Cachoeira has a chance in this fight. So I love Edwards at 8,600, like her for all formats, and obviously Priscilla in GPPs.
Hey, this is the second dog. This is the second dog I wasn't sold on, but I can't pay minus 300 for Jocelyn Edwards. I can't do it, and especially because her fighting style, moving forward, throwing plenty. I think she's live in this fight. I'm gonna lean that way. I understand that I could look very silly with this one, but the odds are just too wide for me. They're too fucking wide, and the odds, minus 150. Go over 2.5 rounds. 8,600 when Jocelyn Edwards is not going to be the one looking for takedowns. I'm worried about her scoring, even if you think she wins. I'll be underweight to Jocelyn Edwards and over to Priscilla Cachoeira. Totally bucking the trends here. Priscilla cashew butter as her coach screams uppercut and she wings a hook, giving up the 5th takedown. That's all great, Nan. If Jocelyn Edwards is going to shoot a takedown. When's the last time Jocelyn Edwards took down Chelsea Chandler?
7 against Vidal.
Vidal?
8 against Cornole.
When did Jocelyn? I didn't watch this fight. I watched the Chandler fight, and I think I watched the Nora Cornole fight. Somehow I missed the Tamiris Vidal fight. Fuck it. I'm gonna roll with it.
And you got to play both sides in GP. There's only been one time in 7 losses from these two that the opponent has not made the optimal lineup. Priscilla's put every opponent since 2021 optimal in a loss.
You're managing to sell me on a little bit more Edwards than I was planning and saying. I still think because of the volume,
She's getting good. She's getting better.
Yeah, fuck it. I do. You know what? Both the women's MMA underdogs though are ones to just at high volatility early for GPPs. Cash games with dog, I do feel more confident about. You've almost managed to talk me off of it a little bit, but I'm going to stick to my I'm going to stick to my fucking convictions. Also, I hate her nickname La Pantera because I don't know. This is going to be a super hot take. I'm not. Something about Yair Rodriguez I don't like. I can't really place it, and you can all yell at me for it. There's something about him.
He seems like a douchebag.
It's not me, right? That doesn't
no.
he?
No, he does. He absolutely does.
I thought it had some weird bias where everyone loved Yair and his style and this. I'm like, do we?
It's like he just expects things. I don't know.
Was he the one who like won his first fight in like 2 years? Like, I want a title shot. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind?
The dude, he is out of his mind. Yes.
So anyway,
I'm with you there.
GPP fight. I'll be over on Priscilla, and Monk has turned me to probably not be too far into the field, or at least even on Jocelyn Edwards. He's turning me into a convert.
There we go.
All right, let's talk Elijah Smith and Toshiomi Kazama, because this is what I do on a weekly basis. Well, to the last fight, nonsense. The second must own GPP fight. Yeah, but we're gonna get to a bunch here that are not that. They just happen to be early. All right, I think I've stalled enough. Smith is minus 700. Kazama is plus 500. Fight ends inside the distance is minus 400. Your DraftKings salaries: Elijah Smith is 9,300. Kazama is 6,900. Monk, is there any reason I don't press the X button on Toshiomi Kazama?
I don't see. No, I don't. I can't give you one. Smith should be better absolutely everywhere. Kazama's only path is clearly the grappling and wrestling, and Elijah Smith is probably going to be able to stuff a bunch of those takedowns. I mean, he allowed 2 of 4 against Morales. That's not a huge issue, and he stuffed 0 for 2, or he stuffed 2 of them rather in his DWCS fight. He just seems extremely well-rounded, man. I was super impressed in that Morales fight. I was on the side of Morales in that one just because I didn't trust, what I was seeing from Elijah in the DWCS. But man, was I wrong. It was a very close fight, even amounts of strikes, but he landed 3 takedowns and basically the same control time as Morales, and looked great. Avoided the subs, had a couple reversals on him. It looked fantastic all around. And Kazama, I mean, beating Charalampos Gregorio is nothing to brag about. And even then he landed 2 strikes in 7 minutes. Just ridiculous. He had the unfortunate debut fight against Nakamura. Unfortunate for him that he was fighting Nakamura. And then he loses to Garrett Armfield in the first round. If he can't get you down, he's not going to do anything at all. He's got 6 wins by submission. Elijah Smith, I believe, has never been subbed. Only 1 finish in his career, and it was by KO. So not much to say on this one. Smith is a very young up-and-comer, 22 years old. And like I said, he looks extremely well-rounded for that age. Probably grew up in the fight game because of who his father is. Maybe he wasn't the best, but he definitely, knew what he was doing, knew his way around the mat as well. So he's been in this for a long time, and I think Kazama is completely outmatched.
Pretty much agree. All I'll say to add on is that apologize if anybody heard me burp into the microphone. I tried to mute. I had some Taco Bell beforehand, and a Monk was talking. That's how I feel about this fight, and I will apologize.
You're not the silent finisher like Toshiomi Kazama is, huh?
Fucking man, once you get past 35, the heartburn and indigestion, guys, if you were under 35, just trust me. I still ate the Taco Bell, and it was delicious, but that shit's coming. Fucking, oh God. Yeah, that's how I feel about this fight, though. I agree. Elijah Smith, better everywhere. You can't even say you're worried about you're flipping a coin in terms of the upside with Walker and Smith up in this range. Different story when it comes to Erceg and Duncan. We'll get there in a little bit. But up here, I would say I would ever so slightly the top pay up. He's only 9,400 is Walker over Smith, but it's close because Smith is better than Walker. The problem is Walker is fighting who I think is the worst fighter on the UFC roster.
Yes.
Not hyperbole. Zero hyperbole. I know a lot of times we do hyperbole and get clicks and all this shit. Rafael Cerqueira is probably the worst fighter on the roster. Watch him win in 45 seconds.
Yeah, right.
As of right now, there's nothing to sway me from that opinion. Yeah. Play Smith wherever you can. Go overweight. I'll be Xing out Kazama, and if Smith loses as well, that just sucks for me. Let's move on and let's talk. Oh, look. Perfect lead-in. Julius Walker. Rafael Cerqueira. Walker is minus 600. Cerqueira is plus 425. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 1,000. Holy garbage. 9,400 for Walker, 6,800 for Cerqueira. Cerqueira, why do I call him the worst fighter in the UFC? If you haven't watched his fights, he's had 2 fights. He has 3 minutes and 3 seconds of control time. He's landed 10 strikes and been knocked out twice. I challenge you to find a rougher resume than that. Monk, how much Cerqueira are you playing?
Zero Cerqueira. I mean, the Ibo Aslan loss has aged terribly, just terribly. You lose to that guy in a minute. I don't know what we're doing. The Bukauskas loss, it is what it is. I mean, Bukauskas is decent. We'll just say that. He's no, Ibo Aslan as far as being terrible. But both his opponents, Cerqueira's opponents, have made the optimal lineup. It was like 106 against Bukauskas and 126 to Aslan. Obviously, you got the quick win bonus there. Walker, very difficult. Well, for a debuting fighter, difficult debut for sure. Only, lost the fight, but still scored almost 55 points. Outscored Menefield on DraftKings by over 13 points in that loss. So that is something to look at there. I mean, he's 9,400. I don't know, if he wasn't fighting the worst fighter on the roster, I'm not sure how high I would be on him, but Cerqueira looks absolutely terrible. All his ratings are just disgustingly bad. I mean, especially the striking. We're in like the 2nd and 3rd percentile of the entire UFC of all time. And Walker
who's
did manage
lower than him. Do you have?
I honestly have to look. It can't be. It must have been somebody that like had 1 fight or 2 fights in the UFC and got quick wind like twice or something. But yeah,
that
I should
look. Fantastic X. If you can find that, that's a fantastic X post.
I should for sure look at that.
Wild.
Yeah, we were not but Walker was looking decent against Menefield. Landed the same amount of strikes for the most part. Went for 9 takedowns, only got 1, but still he controlled over a round of that fight, 5 minutes, 31 seconds. He's going to be able to do whatever he wants to Cerqueira. This is an extremely low-level fight, both sides. But like you said, Cerqueira looks terrible. I don't have much else to say. You can get Walker in your GPPs. I mean, you could probably play him in cash too if you have the space, but that's the issue. You're playing Walker. If you're trying to play or Smith or somebody like that, you're going to have to play somebody you don't want to play. So you got to make that decision. That's why it's a little harder to roster him, even at 9,400. So give me Walker for probably the first round finish.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you. Same as the last breakdown. A little more ceiling here, I think, for a quick finish. Not playing Cerqueira, go ahead and play Walker everywhere. I'm ranking Walker a little ahead of Smith, but it's super close. Either guy could go off.
And it's just because of the opponent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk Eric Anders and Christian Leroy Duncan. Anders plus 400, Leroy Duncan minus 550. Fight goes to decision, I believe, is favored here, despite these being bigger boys. Minus 150 to see all 3 rounds. That does hurt Duncan's value quite a bit on this card. Duncan is 9,200. Anders is 7,000. Where are you going, Monk?
I'm picking CLD, but for DraftKings, I might be a little lower than his salary would indicate, being the 3rd most expensive fighter. Also, thanks DraftKings for not just jamming these guys at 98, 9,700. I'm not being facetious. Like, that's good. That's how it should be. But yeah, Anders is extremely durable, and that's the problem. He's not a good fighter. He's not a great fighter. He's decent, but he gets hit too much. His takedown defense is good. His control time is good, but he doesn't get finished. That's the thing. CLD has 8 TKO wins, 1 by sub, and Anders has only been finished twice in 8 losses. So, like I said, he doesn't ever really look great out there. I mean, Jamie Pickett and retiring Chris Weidman, Kyle Daukaus, Darren Stewart. I mean, these guys are not like good fighters. Duncan just beat Pulaev, who smashed Nick Klein, unfortunately for both of us last week. Luckily, it was in the second.
Klein, I didn't know was going to show up with 3.5 minutes of cardio.
Yeah, that was it was literally, you were watching it and Klein's like doing good, doing well, and then all of a sudden he's backing up and getting hit with every strike.
It was so tired.
Cardio goes out
you
the
could
window.
tell before they came out for round 2, I was like,
yeah,
this is bad. He's done, guys.
This is not good. If Goliath lands one combo, it's fucking over, and that's basically what happened. But at least we got a round of points with him, a couple of takedowns, so that helps. But outside of that, he doesn't have good wins either. Tululin, Hibero, and Todorovic lost to Petrosian and Rodriguez. If CLD gets taken down, he loses. That's the pattern. I'm not saying that's it's just what's happened so far. Petrosian took him down and he beat him. Rodriguez, obviously a much better fighter, took him down 4 times and beat him. So if Eric Anders, who's all of a sudden been going for a ton of takedowns in his fights, 24 against Park, 24, 11 against Barrio. I think I was confusing Barrio with Bukauskas a minute ago, and I apologize if that's the case. And then 13 against Pickett, 6 against Weidman. If he can complete some takedowns against CLD, we're definitely not seeing a ceiling performance from CLD, and we probably shouldn't think we are anyways because of Anders' durability. So while I'm picking him to win, I will be relatively low on him this week. Anders is probably fine for GPPs, but just because of his price, I don't expect him to get the win.
Yeah, oddly enough, I'm picking Christian Leroy Duncan to win. I do think he's a little better, just like you said. I think he'll edge out Anders everywhere, but I'm worried about the scoring. We're totally on the same page there. I think we have the same fight breakdown. I will add that I think Anders is I can't believe I'm going to say this. Anders is your number 1 cash game punt this week.
You know, you're probably right. You're probably right.
I don't think I'm probably right. I'm pretty sure I am right, because in that range, are you going to play Urbina? Well, he's expected to get finished early. We'll talk about Ode Osbourne and Steve Erceg, but that's supposed to end in a finish. Kazama is supposed to end in a finish. Cerqueira is terrible, supposed to end in a finish. I got Eric Anders down here. And potentially it's going to look for takedowns. So he's one probably in GPPs. I probably end up field weight, just kind of vanilla there. Maybe a little over if I end up crossing out enough of these other guys I don't want any of. But in cash games, I'll tell you right now, when you tune into the Cash Game Build show on Thursday, he's going to be one of the first fighters in the lineup because he has to be on this card.
Yeah.
And it's a little weird to say, but that's how the math is. And is he the deadest dog on the card? No. I don't know if I would call him a live dog. Like that term gets thrown around really loosely these days, but he's not the worst.
No, and CLD wins his last finish. Hibero, Tululin. I mean, he's finished Todorovic, Tululin, Hibero, but I think Anders is better than all those guys.
Yep. You know who is a live dog? You know who I'm going to pick to win straight up and might get some shit for? Miles Johns. Jean Matsumoto is -300. Miles Johns is +250. Fight goes to decision, -250. Actually, Miles Johns, he's just not as cheap because you do have to pay $7,700 for Miles Johns thanks to this fucked up salaries this week. Usually +250, I can get like $7,200 for Johns. That's the biggest problem here. But so that sucks a little bit. Miles Johns, $7,700. At that price, at these odds. I will say before I kick it to you, Mungus, do I think that Matsumoto is the better fighter all around? Take all their skill sets together. Yes, I actually do. Do I think styles make fights? And this is a fucking awful matchup for Jean Matsumoto. Yes, I do. That is why I'm taking Miles Johns. I'll cover that more in a second. Monk, what you got?
I have to agree. I picked Miles Johns straight up here, and it's because of the complete lack of defense we've seen from John Matsumoto. It's non-existent. Yeah, he lands well over 5 strikes a minute. He absorbs 5.4. His takedown defense is 58%. He gets controlled 58% of the grappling time. Like, it's just not good overall. I mean, Rob, the win against Katona Argueta doesn't really mean much to me. I don't really rate those guys highly. The Rob Font loss, I think we were both on that one. I don't remember. But
I don't want to hear Matsumoto's grappling's fixed. He took down Rob Font, 7 times. I just checked real quick. Remember, Rob Font's got like 40% takedown defense.
Yeah.
Sam Hagen, everybody ragdolls him. Now, Matsumoto could improve, but that last fight didn't prove it to me.
No. And I mean, Johns has been taken down. I mean, Cody Gibson, he's a wrestler. Argueta took him down twice. He's a wrestler. And then in his last fight, Lima, who's just a dog, I mean, only got him down twice as well, but he's still Miles Johns, that is, landing takedowns in some of these fights against Morales, Gibson, DV, Douglas D. I almost said the thing from the movie. DSDA.
Lima's a problem. I know he just lost to Peyton Talbot, but Felipe Lima is a problem in this division.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
He's real good.
And, Miles Johns only lands 3 strikes a minute. He doesn't get hit hardly at all. His takedown defense is 82%. He controls majority of the grappling time, but mostly his defense is the complete opposite of the very, very shitty defense that John Matsumoto has put on display. So the defense is probably the best overall in the entire card for Johns, and that's how I'm playing this one. I think it's a Johns decision, and I'd be very, very surprised if Matsumoto not only paid off his salary, but won the fight. Well, Miles Johns only
300. Then this sounds like a bet for you. If you're that surprised, I mean, plus 250 for Miles Johns, I think you have to pull the trigger there.
Absolutely. So yeah, I love Miles Johns here. One of the only underdogs I picked.
Yep, plus 265 over on Circa. Make sure you get your extra 15 cents, boys and girls. I will agree. I'm probably going to pull the trigger on a Johns bets. I'm just about there. Plus 265 does feel way, way, way too wide. I am going to pick him straight up for DraftKings, and just people before I get hit in the comments. I spend Sunday, Monday, Tuesday watching fights, making picks, wanting to get this show out, and then I'll go towards the end of the week, start building cash game lineups, and then making my bets towards the end of the week. I used to try and jam it all in. It's just if I lose a little bit of value on line movement, I kind of do, but I don't want to. I can't slam to get everything together at once. That's why I don't officially have a bet on Miles Johns yet. It seems pretty likely. Even if you think Matsumoto wins, to Monk's point, it's hard to see him paying off this price tag, especially on this card where there are some big numbers floating around. You do get a little bit of odds values on him at 8,500. Usually minus 300 will cost you a lot more. I just, on the card, I think there's better options. I think there's better options on the card. I'll take a stab on Miles Johns. Excuse me, more Taco Bell. It's a problem, guys. All right, let's talk one of my least favorite fighters on the roster. I mean, I point out the guys I do like too, but there's quite a few that I seem to hold grudges against. We talked about Yair. I haven't mentioned Chris Curtis yet this week, so I'll just throw him in here now. Fuck you, Chris Curtis. Wrong fight here. Christian Rodriguez, that weight bully motherfucker. Minus 235 for Rodriguez, plus 200 for Andre Fili. Minus 170 for the fight to go to decision. DraftKings salaries here. Christian Rodriguez is 8,400. Fili is 7,800. Monk, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to pick Mr. Weight Bully to get the win, but I am very low. I think I should drop this 3-star rating to 2, to be quite honest.
That's
I don't
exactly
think
what I have. I have a Rodriguez win and a 2-star fight ranking.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to do that live right now. Yeah. I mean, the loss to Costa was an incredible fight. That was a very, very good fight. Can't say enough about it. He did stuff 15 of 18 takedowns against Bashi, which is fantastic. That was Bashi's debut or second fight. I don't remember, but as we know, Bashi smashed last week. Then he lost to Arosa. He beats 3 guys at bantamweight. Like you said, Weight Bully. I think his closest he missed by, I guess he made that one. He missed by like 2.5 and then 4 pounds or something crazy. So his wins aren't the best overall. They're decent. Fili beats Swanson, lands 2 of 11 takedowns, but Swanson was, I think, retiring after that. And all his losses, I mean, anytime he takes a decent step up to like Wood, Ige, even Costa, he does not look great. I got to go with Christian Rodriguez here. He has made the optimal lineup once in 5 attempts. That's terrible. Fili's made it once in 3 wins since 2021. Both guys do put their opponents optimal at a pretty high clip, 2 of 3 and 3 of 4 in losses. But I still got to go with Rodriguez here. I mean, his defense is just better, especially striking defense. His takedown defense is actually pretty close to Fili, both about 70%. They both get out grappled as far as control time goes. But Fili's striking accuracy, he lands 3.8, but his striking accuracy is 38%. So it kind of lends itself to him missing a lot of shots, getting a little bit tired as the fight wears on. And Rodriguez, he just looks solid, for lack of a better word. He doesn't do anything fantastically. Like that Melky fight was probably his best performance just because it was a great fight, and half of that was because of how Melky fights. So it's very back and forth fight, tons of reversals, submission attempts, takedown attempts. So hopefully we see that out of Rodriguez. But even then, even in a loss, I don't think he scored. I mean, I'm going to take that back. That fight was a stack optimal. Costa versus Rodriguez. Rodriguez scored 75 and Costa ended up with 104. So hopefully we see that again, but it's quite unlikely.
Hopefully we don't, because I'll be underweight.
Actually, yeah, that's true. I'll be under on probably a little on both sides. So give me Rodriguez for the win, but yeah, I'm not looking to play a ton of this one. I think he's just fine in cash. I think he's a pretty good cash play at 8,400. He's not too expensive, and you should get a 10x out of him at least in a win.
The problem is that I'd rather play Yasmin Lucindo for a little bit cheaper, who we're going to talk about in a second, in cash games. But yeah, he's fine. I think Rodriguez wins, just like you said. Even if Fili wins, I don't think he's going to pay off the optimal. Even at mid-range salary, I'll be under 2 Fili for sure. Rodriguez, I'm fielder under, just not one of those fights I'm super excited about. It's one of the ones I'll be underweight to. So those fights we talked about at the start of the show, I can slam all them bitches in. So yeah, Rodriguez is the pick, underweight overall. Let's go. Yasmin Lucindo, Angela Hill. Lucindo is -205. Comeback on Hill is +175. Fight goes to decision, -550. Yasmin Lucindo's 8,300. Angela Hill is 7,900. Monk, who you got?
My pick is Lucindo, but I have this as a 3-star fight. It's a lot like the Rodriguez fight, man. Neither of them score well. Only once has Lucindo been optimal. I believe that would have been, I don't even know. Marina Rodriguez. She won a split decision there. She did get taken down a couple times by, or I guess just once by Marina Rodriguez. Got back up, landed 2 strikes a minute. So we're not expecting a ton of strikes here. In fact, really only against Kavlkiewicz did she put up any kind of, valuable volume, as it were. The control times there for sure. I mean, 3, 4, 5 minutes in almost every fight. We know what Angela Hill's going to do. Lately, she has been attempting more takedowns, which is interesting. 9 against Gomes, 6 against Pinheiro, 2 against Ricci, and 2 against Souza. She has won 3 of those 4 fights, so maybe we see that again here. But Lucindo's takedown defense, it's at 54%, isn't great, but she counters that by getting reversals, and she actually ends up controlling 63% of the grappling time. Much like Miles Johns, the defense from Lucindo is really quite fantastic. I mean, she has a 66% striking defense, and outside of that 55% takedown defense number that we saw, her numbers are very above average everywhere. Whereas Angela Hill, decent to low striking, takedown defense is 75, but she gets out grappled, so it's kind of the opposite. And she only lands a quarter of a takedown per 5 minutes. So we're not really expecting a ton of that, even though recently, like I just said, it has gone up a bit. I just think as long as Lucindo doesn't get jabbed to death, she's a clear front runner for a decision win. I think Hill has 32 fights, 24 of them have seen the scorecards. So we're not expecting a finish. Even at 8,200, I mean, I don't even know if Lucindo 10X's her salary there. And Hill likely isn't going to, even at 8,000, I mean, the most expensive dog on the card, she's not going to 10X her salary most likely either. So surprisingly, she lands 5.5 a minute, but she eats 5 a minute. But again, Lucindo doesn't land much volume. We're looking for the grappling. We're looking for the defense from Lucindo to get us a decision here.
I think Lucindo's going to actually grapple in this one and have a little bit of success. I know Angela has been wrestling a little bit more. I think that is Lucindo's pretty clear path to victory here. He took down Marina Rodriguez 3 times. Marina once upon a time had really good takedown defense. I know I'm pretty sure she retired now, right? Yep. Yeah, she's the one who put it down on the cage. Yeah. Taking down Amanda Lemos, I know she lost that fight. This was a little bit of it's a lot of control time, clinch time.
There were 16 strikes landed in that fight total.
It was weird. But a lot of takedowns. Amanda Lemos wanting to wrestle you makes me think Yasmin Lucindo hits way harder than
that's true
than we realize when Lemos wants to grab you. For whatever reason, I think Lucindo is getting better. I like what I've seen from her. I think she can grapple Angela Hill. I think is on the decline. I think Hill is less. I think Lucindo is more likely to pop off here. Also, I feel like we got a pretty safe cash game floor here. Yeah, odds go that way. I'll go with Yasmin Lucindo. I think a little bit of a surprising spot. For me, I'll get a little bit of leverage here, whereas I think most people will not, and that will be clearly my pick as well. Steve Erceg, Ode Osbourne. Steve Erceg is -600. Ode Osbourne, the comeback is about +425. Fight ends inside the distance is -210. Over 1.5 rounds is -205 though. So Vegas predicting that late second to third round finish pretty significantly. Erceg will cost you 9,100. O'Day will cost you 7,100. Monk, what do you think in this fight? Because my initial gut reaction is, man, I know it's -210 to go and inside the distance, but do I really want to load up here? Or would I rather play the Walker, Smith, Medic? Like, do I really want to put Steve Erceg up in that range? And then, like, I find myself down in this fight because for the reason that I don't know if Erceg can compete with all them scoring-wise in that price range. And then on the other hand, O'Day, I think, is one of the least live dogs on the card. Like, I think he's going to get smacked. How much of this fight do you really play?
I'm right there with you, and I'm pretty low on it as far as that goes. I mean, Erceg just doesn't score well at all. Both guys are 500 in the UFC, which I find interesting, but it's a very different 500 from O'Day to Erceg. Erceg's 3 losses are Moreno, France, and Pantoja, to one champ, one former champ, and someone that was almost fighting for a belt a couple of times, you know, still towards the top of the flyweight division. O'Day's beat a debuting Luis Gurul, Charles Johnson, which is a decent win, Adeshev, Vergara. I mean, just really kind of nobody decent. Erceg has failed to make the optimal lineup in any of his 3 wins. Both guys put their opponents optimal at about a 66 to 80% rate. So that's the only reason I'm even considering playing either side of this one. But yeah, I don't understand the over under 1.5. Let's see. I guess Fight ITD. There it is. -210. Like you said, that seems crazy. Like they're expecting a Steve Erceg finish, which I guess I understand. He did KO Matt Schnell, but that's really it. And how many did he score in that one? 93.75. He was 9,200 that week. That's probably not going to put you optimal unless a ton of favorites win, which could be the case. So I guess I'll play a little bit of Osbourne. I'll play some Erceg. I think he was fine in all formats, but really, I mean, even in cash, I'd be looking elsewhere. I might have to adjust that. I do think he gets the win, which is why I put all, so he's good in cash. But yeah, the defense for Osbourne is just not great. And Erceg, honestly, his numbers aren't much better. 64% takedown defense, gets out grappled, 4.5 strikes a minute. He allows 4 strikes a minute. All these numbers are pretty much what O'Day allows as well.
But it's 64% when Pantoja took you down 9 times. You take those 9, like it's probably not bad.
Yeah, against the best of the best in the division, quite literally. And O'Day Osbourne, like I said, his best win is Johnson. His best fight name value fighter is probably Almabayev. Other than that, there's not much going on. So yeah, short-ish notice replacement. I mean, obviously Erceg was fighting for this one, but O'Day, I don't know if he had one scheduled or if they brought him in on a week's notice, but yeah, I expect him to get kind of dominated. Hopefully we see a decision so Erceg doesn't go off for the first time in the UFC.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think Erceg is fine for cash because some of the other plays we just mentioned are more high volatility. But I agree. I'd play him in cash and underweight in GPPs for that scoring upside. O'Day will be field to under for me. I don't see many paths to victory, especially on short notice. This is another one. That's why early in the show we could say load up, load up, load up. Because in the back end here we're like, all right.
Yep.
Jordan, I feel like if anything, O'Day gets the finish. If Erceg wins, it's through 3 rounds of striking. I mean, Vegas would. I get where you're coming from. Then you should probably go out and make yourself a bet here. You should probably bet O'Day. The bet you won here
just ITD is plus 650. Him to win by KO is plus 7.
For what he's laying out is the O'Day win. O'Day Osbourne scorecards, no action.
Yeah.
Which I think is, let's see if that's actually listed yet.
Should be all right, I would think.
I think it's going to be pretty good. Yeah. O'Day Osbourne scorecards, no action, plus 350.
Yeah, I was thinking about 300. So
you think he just survives. And that, so you give up 75 cents of value here for protection on an Erceg decision.
Mm-hmm.
I think Erceg's a little more live to a finish, but I don't hate the decision. I don't hate that thought process at all. I think Erceg's minus 600. That's too high for a parlay pieces. Betting this week's going to be rough. I might put together like 1, 3, or 4 man of some of my favorites, and then look at Miles Johns is kind of where I'm leaning. But again, we'll see. We will see how everything shakes out. But don't hate that. to recap, Erceg fine in cash games overall, under to the fight. Let's talk main event of the evening. Roman Dolidze, Anthony Hernandez. Dolidze plus 270. Hernandez, the favorite, is minus 330. Fight ends inside the distance is minus 210. Over 3.5 rounds, minus 130. So projected to get a little bit of extra action here for you guys considering cash games. We'll talk about that in a second. Your DraftKings salaries for this one. Fluffy is 8,700. Dolidze is 7,500. Bunk, where you going?
Well, everyone's going to hate me for this, and I completely get it. I would not be surprised, and I will not be surprised if Smith wins the grappling battle here against Dolidze because he's probably better,
Smith?
right?
You mean wait?
Or Hernandez? I don't know
Hernandez.
why. I must have been looking at something.
Well,
I don't know. Oh, I guess I saw Anthony Smith when I was looking through the last few fights. But yeah, Anthony Hernandez should obviously be the better grappler. I mean, surprisingly, he lands 4.5 strikes a minute overall in his career. That's his 11 fights basically at a 64% accuracy. That's fantastic. 2 takedowns per 5 minutes, 81% control time, and 1 million ways to submit you. That said, I needed dogs this week, and I picked Roman Dolidze to get the win. I'm trying to convince myself that that's the way to go. He's never been finished, and that's why he has some value in all formats here. He's still a bit expensive to think that probably at 7,500, but it could be worse. It could be Angela Hill at 8K, and we have 25 minutes to go here. So he put up an okay score against Imavov when he lost in 25 minutes. I think he scored 40-ish points, 42 points. It's not great. Again, not terrible, though, for 7,500. And that's kind of what we're looking for here. We're looking for Roman to not get finished, which has not happened yet. I don't know if he's fought a grappler as good as Hernandez, but Roman's going to, like you said off top, Roman's going to have to keep this standing. He does get taken down. I mean, it hasn't happened in the past 3-4. Nasruddin didn't take him down.
He's got 33% takedown defense, though.
That's true, but it's because no one is really attempting him. I mean, Staropoli back in the day landed 3 of 5. One of one from Phil Hawes, a couple from Hermanson, and that's it. No one's attempted a takedown on him since Hermanson, which I do find interesting. So, yeah, the 33% takedown defense could really work itself either way. You could make an argument for either, that's fine or that's definitely no good in this situation. So it's definitely going to be tested. That's what we can say for sure. I mean, what's 8 plus 29 plus 51? I mean, we could keep doing this. In his last 5, Hernandez has attempted 80 takedowns, 80 fucking takedowns.
He's not going to stop.
At a 45,
go.
At a 45% accuracy. So Roman's only chance is stuffing Fluffy and just keeping the standing, landing his jabs. He doesn't throw a ton of volume. I mean, 3.58 is not terrible. But Fluffy only absorbs 2.6, mostly because his opponents are on their backs. So that could be a different story if he can't take down Dolidze. I assume he'll be able to a couple times, but Dolidze has proven tough. He does get up. He knows what he's doing as far as the grappling goes. Like, he controls, both guys control 81% of all the control time they're involved in. It's just that Fluffy controls about 3 out of 5 minutes and Roman controls about 90 seconds out of 5 minutes. So there's a clear delineation there. It's probably not a smart pick, but I'm also biased. I'm picking Dolidze. I think you could stack this fight. I think if you really needed to, I think it's a stackable fight.
It's stackable because over 3.5 rounds minus 130. And the way Fluffy fights, he takes you down, you get up, land a little bit, he rinse and repeats. There's over 3.5 rounds minus 130 on this card. I think is fine.
I'm kind of surprised that Nasruddin didn't attempt any. Holland, obviously, that fight didn't last long enough, really. Vittori is not going to attempt any. So hopefully Dolidze's, kept up that defense I'm making up in my head, because on paper it's 33%. But if he's on his back the whole time, you're going to regret stacking it, and you're going to regret not jamming Anthony Hernandez in all of your lineups, because 5 rounds of grappling always pays off. Always. So you have to play both sides in GPPs. I mean, Fluffy's made optimal in 5 of 7 wins. Dolidze just 3 of 7. So definitely a fight to target. Probably if I'm taking my bias out, I'm playing more Fluffy, obviously, than Dolidze at these prices, but I'm not sleeping on Dolidze. He just finds ways to win, and I don't get it sometimes. He just finds ways to win.
It's winning at life. Just ask JP Bays. Had to be said. Will always be said. We'll never let it go. Probably should, but won't.
Yeah.
Look, I think Hernandez grappling is there. I think he controls the fight. I understand your points, but I think so many people are going to overvalue Dolidze in this spot that I can get, especially if I decide to stack this in cash games. So I'll have
that's true because they
some
need
exposure
dogs.
to Dolidze. If I do that, I likely for sure end up under on him in GPPs and maybe like take a stand, like just say, let's roll the dice with Fluffy, pick some other underdogs. And if Dolidze is not optimal, I'm going to get ahead of a lot of people real quick.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's how I'm going to approach it because I do think Hernandez, the grappling advantage is very significant in this spot. I think Dolidze is going to struggle. I know he's on a great run. I think he comes, back down to earth here a little bit. And I say he's on a great run. Yeah. Smith, Holland, Vittori. Great. I think this is a bad matchup for him. I think he comes back down to earth a little bit. I like the rise Fluffy's on. I can get some leverage in the field who I think is going to over-own Roman Dolidze. So give me Fluffy Hernandez. Don't go anywhere yet, even though we just broke down our 12th fight. We're not done. We got to talk kill shots on a nice little roll with kill shots. I tried to tell you guys last week about Piera. Like anybody who would listen. I was like, get overweight in GPPs. That was a big old score. That was nice. If you don't know what a kill shot is, welcome to the show. And if you do or not, hit the like button, share with your friends, get them in here. A kill shot is an under-owned GPP play who can help you win a tournament. Typically, it's a dog. Last week, it was not. Somebody who's not chalk, no main event, can help you take down a tournament, a risky type of play. Monk, who you going with?
I mean, should I just be a dick and take the one that's just glaring at me right off the bat?
Go ahead. Go ahead. It's fine.
There is a second one that's way lower. I'll mention it after. I'll take Miles Johns. 7,700 to get it done over Matsumoto. I love the fighting nerds. People love the fighting nerds, and they just think that when they're scheduled to fight, they're going to win. Matsumoto might be the exception here.
You ready? Because hold on to your tits, because I'm not even picking her to win. I'm not picking her to win. Hold your tits, hold your arms close, boys and girls. Julia Stoliarenko.
Yeah.
It's super scary, and she could get smashed, and I'll still be over to Gabriela Fernandes. The point is, I want leverage in Stoliarenko because I think Fernandes a little bit fluky here. So, look, totally get smashed. I'm going to reiterate again, be over to both sides, but don't sleep on Stoliarenko this week in GPPs. That's what I'll take for my Hail Mary type of kill shot. Yeah, we broke down 11 fights, 12 fight for DFS Army members once we get salaries and odds. It is Brundage Mechanico. You got anything else before we get out of here?
I don't think so. The other one I was going to say, if I had to pick another, was Eric Anders, and that would be an extreme kill shot. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to this card. There's some very good matchups here. I mean, even the ones that are probably being terribly underrated seem good to me. So I'm looking forward to this. And then next week, of course, DDP and freaking Hamzat. Let's go. 319. I'm super excited, man. Last week was great. This week should be very good, if not great. And next week's going to be fantastic.
I'm super excited for Dricus Du Plessis to smash this hype train. You don't smash everybody. I mean, Hamzat Chimaev, yeah, he's beat everybody except the scale, but we're going to be throwing pot shots all week. I can't wait for it. It's going to be fun.
The stats are going to be crazy on that one.
Even if Hamzat wins, I'm going to have fun with this one. Really fun card, though. Aaron Pico makes his UFC debut. Carlos Praches, Jeff Neal, Michael Venom Page, Jared Cannonier, I think is a sneaky, interesting matchup. If anybody can make a Page fight not boring, it's probably going to be Jared Cannonier.
Fingers crossed.
I'm looking forward to Asakura Elliott, I think, is a really good fight.
Praches.
Yeah. I said Praches, Jeff Neal. We got King Green back. Mearshot Olajayshuk is
that could be
fight.
Huge.
Chase Hooper, Chase the Dream, Loopy and Jessica Andrade, sneaky good fucking fight. Drakkar Close, Edson Barboza, phenomenal. This card is fantastic.
This card's great. Even Oleksiejczuk, Mearshart.
The second fight of the night, And again, Karini Silva, JJ Aldrich. Karini Silva's on her way up. It's a good fight for her.
Aldrich is out. It says injury on Tapology. It's been canceled.
That's a new one. Okay, I haven't seen that replaced yet, so we'll see if that comes back. So then as of right now, the first fight of the night, just to illustrate how good this card is.
Mm-hmm.
On this week's card, I would firmly tell you that Brian Battle versus Nursultan Ruzaboyev would be the co-main event. Firmly on this week's card.
Oh, yeah.
And it is the opener next week. It's the curtain jerker. That is Battle's out of his mind. Ruzaboyev is really good. A little bit crazy, not as crazy as Brian Battle. It's so good. This card is so fucking good. So make sure you hit the like button, you subscribe to the channel, follow everybody, make sure you get all your content, make some money this week, roll it into next week. Looking forward to it. Helmets up at the top of the leaderboard. One more time, smash that like button. Thanks everyone for joining in. Everybody mentioned in the comments. Thank you. Want to see more of them next week. See you for UFC 316. Make sure you go UFC 319. Sorry, 319. Make sure you cash this week for UFC Vegas 109. Enjoy the card and Dolidze versus Hernandez. For Monk, I'm Sniper. We'll see you next time.